welcome. If you have used it, hopefully you'll get some new things and see some awesome things from there. So, boom, without further ado. Oh, hi, Miss McDonald. Here we go. Let me turn the volume up a little bit. So, Adobe Spark is pretty awesome. It's a website that has 3 different tools that you can use on it, and then there's just a plethora of different ways you can use them depending on whatever you need for your class. So, we're going to go through the kind of how-to, what you can do, and then we'll look at some things, some examples, and then we'll go from there. So, I said Adobe Spark, 3 place, 1 tool. If you'd like to find it, you can just go to Google and type in Adobe Spark. It does have an app for all for the 2 of the 3 different versions, the video and the graphic tool, but the web page you have to do online. So depending on what tool you're using from there, that might make a difference. The 2 words that I'm really going to try to stress on this is it's super quick and super easy way for you to create whatever you need to do. So a lot of teachers love it because within 15 minutes, you can tell the students, hey, I'd like you to do this. And then within 15 minutes, you can have a super awesome product done. And what they did looks professional and it looks awesome and it's good. So, like I said, quick and easy. So the first thing, if you want to know how to get to Adobe Spark, when you go to Adobe Spark, you're going to want to click on the right side and log in with your school account. Click on the continue with Google, and this is really just not confusing, but make sure you click the enterprise ID, which is the company or school. Seems kind of like duh, but sometimes it doesn't happen. If that doesn't work, then you can always log in just with your school account. The reason you want to log in with your school account is since we're in education, whether that's plesval.org, you get all the bells and whistles, the premium features for free if you use that. So that's super awesome. Okay, so from there, when you get on there, this is what your home screen looks like. And you're gonna notice on the left, there's this plus sign. And when I hit that plus sign, I'm gonna have an options between flyer, web page, video, or then a branded graphic and custom size graphic. We'll talk about those a little bit, but not too much. But that's kind of like if you were trying to sell stuff, you can put a brand logo on there, or maybe you have a science class that you always show. You might want to do something like that. If you haven't used Spark in a while, it's going to look different because last year they did a pretty big update. So it looks a little different than what it normally is. But so this is a student example of kind of this is the quote that they have. I will never stray from my family. So this is an actual picture of their family at the beach. And they kind of put those words over the top of it. So this is just kind of a classic that they use or a graphic that they use there. We'll watch a little bit of this, but this is what my daughter did for her reflections project this year. She wanted to do a video, and one thing she noticed that it was nobody did a video in her grade level last year. So we talked about what would be an easy way for her to do that. So this looks super awesome. It's got, if you can hear it, great. If you can't hear it, I'm gonna turn it up a little bit, or you can always watch it in the slideshow later. But it's got pictures. It's got her talking about what she does very well. And then it does all the transitions. You can, if you can't hear, there's music in the background and things like that. But then you can put your own pictures in there. So there's a couple of different ways. You have text and things like that. The next option that you have, let me click off of, go to the next slide, is the web page. So if you didn't know, in the social studies in high school, they do kind of like a presidential debate campaign. So this is Jane Wheeler for president. And this is what the website looked like. We're going to look at this in a little bit more in depth right now. So when I go there, here's my Wheeler for President website. So you can look and see, it's actually not a website, it's a web page for those of you who want to get technical. So as I scroll down, I kind of see what's my upcoming campaign staff. So it's not simply just a web page, but they're kind of outlining their entire platform there. Where's my safe state? Like, okay, Iowa is pretty like safe, like that's what I'm going to get. And then there's going to be on the bottom, this is called a glide show. So as I scroll down, these pictures kind of show up differently and they look a little bit more. You can add text and other things over the top of them. And then you have in the bottom, you can insert videos, you can insert others. So this is actually Adobe Spark or graphic that they created to show that some different things. So then the easiest way for me to kind of show you guys how to actually do all this stuff would be me actually just taking us to Adobe Spark and going from there. So that's what we're going to do. Because me taking pictures and all that stuff, I think you're going to have questions and I want to show you all the different features of this. So let's go and get to work. So like I said, when you get to Adobe Spark, you're going to have options. And over here, you're going to go to, you can have flyer, web page, or video. So I'm just going to pick flyer first. and we're going to go from there. So when I click on this, sometimes it takes a little bit because it loads a lot of stuff. But like I said, the goal here is super quick and super easy. So on the right side, you're going to see some options that are already pre-made. So a student can say, oh, this looks perfect. This is exactly what I want. And if they click on that, it's actually going to say, would you like to create using this template? Oh yeah, this one looks perfect because I need to make a flow chart of a food web for science. So I click on this. And then from there, the student is able to manipulate and change anything they want about this. They can move, change the background. They can add more pictures. So instead of greeting cards, I want to say, maybe I want to type in here, I'm going to double click. I want to type in snakes because I'm going to talk about a food web. Boom, go there. And then from there, oh, you know what? If I'm going to talk about a food web, I might want to put a picture. So I'm going to add in a picture, so a photo. And I'm going to find my own because I haven't really found it. And I want a picture of a snake. So hopefully we don't get anything too bad. Okay, so from there, now these pictures are all freely licensed. So I know Carrie likes that. They're allowed to be used. They're all copyrighted correctly, and they're really high resolution and large pictures. So you can make them look whatever it is. Oh, like I love that picture. So I click on that. That's going to insert that picture into my collage, and I can move that wherever I'd like to. So I can move that around, can make it smaller, put it, like I said, wherever I need to put it. Now, the other option, this is I'm actually using a template. I can create one from scratch where I have to do all these things on my own. So I'm not going to get into that because like my goal of these things is to not be long. But what I also really, really love about this is if I add a text, so if I put in a text, it gives me options of what it's going to look like. So maybe I'm a student that gets bogged down by what my text should look like. I can just scroll down here and say, oh, this one looks awesome. That's what I want my text to look like. And then it actually puts it in there. And then I can just double click and say, instead of season, I want this to say food. And instead of sale, I want this to say web. I had to think, Miss Menti, to make sure I got that. So then that's what it looks like. So then now once again, I can click, I can drag this. I can change every single thing about that. I can change the color of it if I'd like to. I can change the type of font. Okay. There's lots of options. So this is where it might take students a little bit because they might have, okay, they might get that like decision paralysis, but they might like this because it's going to show them all these different options. So yeah, I know I'm not done, but within like 3 minutes, I was able to make something out of nothing because I could use those templates. So then the next thing I wanted to go over was the videos. So on this Adobe video, I'm going to just title this test. Go from here. It gives you little templates that each student can use for a template. So if they're going to teach us a lesson, you can use that one if you can make it your own, or I'm actually just going to start from scratch because I know that I want to do this. So when my daughter was doing this Adobe Spark video, what it does is basically gives you like each individual one is its own Google slideshow, and then you put in your audio over the top of it. What I also love is it gives you a 1 minute and 7 second tutorial that if you watch, it explains every part about Adobe Video. So if you forget all these things that I'm going to go over the next couple of minutes, you can come back here and watch this, and it's going to totally recap everything pretty quickly. So that way you can do that. I always leave this unchecked so I can watch it in case it ever adds anything to it. So this is what I love about it is as a student, I only get 4 options of the different types of slides I can use. So I'm not bogged down by that like 15,000 ideas. Or if I'm like an iMovie user, sometimes you get caught up with all the different ways you can make things look. So I'm just going to insert text, and once again, or I'm going to talk about theme statements here. Perfect. So then there's my theme statement. And then like I said, I'm just going to record my voice. So I click down here, I hold, and I got allow, boom, got it. Here we go, people. I'm going to talk about theme statements. All right, so that's my first slide. So my first slide is done. Well, then now I know I need another slide, so I can click on add down here. But now I want to split screen because I want to show a picture with what I'm talking about. So then I can put over here, I can put up the first part, or I'm going to go resolution. No, that's not really theme statement, but resolution. And then over here, once again, I can pick, and I'm going to pick a picture. So I can upload ones from my computer if I'd like to, or so, boom, let's go here. Okay. I like it. There we go. I'm going to add that. And then that's my picture for resolution. So then once again, I'm going to record. The resolution is when you are a Spartan and you think critically and you're empathetic and kind. Wonderful. And then at the end, what I also love about this is if I use anything, any photos, any videos, it automatically cites them on the last slide. So like going back to that copyright and everything like that, it takes care of all that for you. So then that way, if you use any pictures, so for like, let's say for instance, over here, I said, I don't really like this one. I'm going to use one from Adobe and I'm going to type in theme. See what we get. Oh, I like that one. Yeah, it's a great one. Boom. It puts that picture in, and then I can click the edit button, zoom out a little bit, click and drag it over. There we go. And then over here on the credits, it's going to say created with work by, and it's going to cite any of those ones that I used down there. And I can say, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you loved it. Boom. There we go. Now I got that. I can have my thanks. And then also, if I wanted to change this and use, I can use different ones. So here's a different style. If I like that, okay, I can choose whichever one I like. Oh, I like this focused one. Boom, there we go. All green looks like it has to do more theme. And like I said, within 15 minutes, you can expect your kids to have a video that's done and actually has some things to with it. So I'm gonna hit play so we can see what this looks like. Perfect. So I don't know if you probably couldn't hear that back home, but it was able to say all the recordings that I had right into that video. So I want to take a time. I've been talking a long time, so I want to say, are there any questions as of right now over videos or the graphics? No. Okay. And I'm like I said, my goal is always to go quick. So I'm going to go pretty quickly over web pages because hopefully you're kind of understanding like, oh, this looks so easy. Like I can do this, or I know Mr. Peterson's going quick, but all that stuff is making sense. So here, if I want to make a web page, I'm just going to come here. I'm going to title it web page, click and add a subtitle by Mr. Peterson. And once again, what I like is it limits my options. So as a student, I don't have 50 ways to make a website. I don't have to choose 300 layouts. I don't have to move everything around. But in a couple of seconds, I can move everything. So I know right here, I want to add a button because I want them to be able to go to Google if they need to at this point. So then I can add in a button where if they click on it, they're going to go to www.google.com. I'm going to put it in the middle. There we go, and hit save. So then now I have a button on that website. Well, the next thing I want in this is going to be, I want a picture. And I want a picture of a Spartan. So I can click, I can find picture of Spartan. Ooh, I love this picture. There we go. I can add that. You know what? I think this one, I might need to make sure that we have a caption on it. So we are Spartans. Boom. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to show you my favorite, the glide show. So I'm going to pick in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pictures. There we go. And then, yep, those are the ones I want. So I'm going to hit save. And then now it's going to give me these pictures that, as you notice, as I scroll down, they pop up as the background and they kind of zoom in on their own. And then there's a little caption area. So I can add another picture in here. I can add another video if I have a YouTube link or I saved it on Vimeo. I can embed those there. I'm just going to insert a text of Spartan race. And I can scroll down. You'll notice it just switches to this guy. And once again, I can add the same thing. So let's just look at a quick preview of what this web page looks like that I made in 2 minutes. So now here's my web page by Mr. Peterson. I scroll down. There's my Google button. There's my Spartan picture. We are Spartans. And then now I have this cool glide show where I have all these things in the back. So when I think of using these, this might be a different way for students to do presentations instead of just using your own always using, you know, Google slideshows or things like that. Just a different way for them to put their information across. They could do all three of those options. They can make a splier, they can make a video, or they can make a something on the web page, depending on whatever they need to. All right, and once again, what I really like about this, here's all my credit, so it's giving due to other people that created all this stuff because I didn't do everything on my own, but it automatically does that for me, so then that way that copyright is there. So, all right, that's all I have. Um, Before I ask for questions, I'm just gonna say, if I went too fast, if you're lost, if you're thinking something's cool, please let me or any of the other coaches know, and we could all come in and would love to uh, go through some things with you. So, are there any questions? All right, I'm going to say that's adequate wait time. I know it's Friday afternoon. We all got a lot to do, but thank you very much for coming. I hope that was insightful. I hope you got something that you could use, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. Thank you. Look at Miss Minty had an awesome background.